Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Team Brown Podcast. This is episode 6, and it is our New Year's edition episode. And so we just wanted to wish you, first and foremost, a Happy New Year. We hope it's a reset. We hope it's a way for you to look at things that went well, things that didn't go well, and be able to just reflect on that and then adjust and change. And so we wish you and your family a Happy New Year. And so this is our New Year's episode. And of course, we're having fun. This is Team Brown Podcast, Jeremy and Erica. And we, just a recap from the last 5 episodes, is that we had went through divorce with each other, got remarried. And that's the motivation for this podcast, is to help people who have gone through broken times or busted times or places that are dark. And we want to be able to walk with people through that and get feedback from you guys and hear, hey, I want you guys to cover this topic, or how did you deal with this whenever you went through some dark times? And so that's the motivation of the podcast. So interact with us, make sure that you're commenting and throwing us text messages so that we can really meet you where you're at and be a support and a service to you. God had us excited to do this, or motivated us to do this, because of you. And so we want a chance to be able to respond to that. And so, but welcome. And of course, if you are enjoying this in the last 5 episodes, or you're listening to us on audio, we just want you to share this with other folks. And we really just want to get the message out. So like it, share it, subscribe it, but also just maybe just copy and paste a link to somebody that you love. And we want a chance to interact with them too. So Miss Brown, how are things? How are you doing?
Good.
Lovely. All right. What's your favorite New Year experience, or kind of talk to me about New Year's? What's your take on New Year's?
Well, I'm thankful that it's going to be a new year, the 2022, or that it is a new year, 2022. And we always, January 1st, we do our dream boards and vision boards for the year with our family and our kids, and it's something we sit down and do with them. And so that's what we do.
Yeah, we talked about that on an earlier podcast as well. Just something that is super practical, where you can put in front of you the desires of your heart and actually share that with your family and say, we're going to stand on this and we're going to pray about it. And we really want to speak life into this dead thing, or we want to be able to just really petition God. Hey, this is something that we're looking forward to this year. We really want that. And so as a family, you can unite, and 2 or more are gathered, right? And we really want to be able to be available. We've got our dog in here right now because it's super cold outside right now here in Houston. And so, hi, Pumpkins. All right, welcome to the podcast. All right. And you've probably seen her on pictures and stuff on her Facebook channel, but she's adorable. Pumpkins, you got to get down. All right, cool. So that is kind of the front of this as well. I always like the New Year's season because of the fireworks. Fireworks has always been my jam. And I have liked fireworks as a kid. I'm a firebug. My family's probably laughing on the other side of this video right now, because I've always been known for the guy who, anywhere I can make a fire, I make a fire. And that's true of me here. I mean, we literally built a 15-foot fire pit out here to put all of our dead limbs and anything else I can find to burn in our fire pit. And so, but fireworks is always it's my thing. And so on New Year's, obviously, it's just people shoot off fireworks. But here in the country, people ball out of control when it comes to fireworks. I mean, it sounds like literally like a war zone is going on in the background, and it's really colorful. So tell folks of our first experience here in the country with fireworks.
It's very different. To me, I'm like, is that gunshots? We gotta call the police. It's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what is going on? I text our neighbors often when we first moved here. I'm like, did you hear that? Is everyone okay? And because we often hear gunshots here in the country, in the woods a lot, whether people are target practicing or shooting deer on their property. It's not like Arizona or California where you're in a residential neighborhood and you don't hear gunshots. Like, we hear gunshots a lot, and rounds of them, and automatic weapons. And so it sounds like fireworks.
It
like
sure does,
like
yeah.
You walk out like boom, 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 boom.
At first, it's kind of a jarring shock to your system. You're like, hey, we should probably, and I think we probably did call the cops a couple times, just being like, hey, are we in a residential neighborhood or no?
Is this okay?
Yeah. So, but no, we've enjoyed that experience. I'm a huge, like, Disney does a fireworks show unlike any other. I'm a big fireworks guy. So, it kind of just reminds me of the good times, of the joy parts of life. And because I'm a firebug, God put that in me. I really like the fireworks experience as well. And so that just reminds me that everything just starts fresh and new again. And it's kind of a break, right, in life of like, all right, cool, that was into the year, fireworks go off, you get a new year, let's go. And so that's cool. That's kind of our fun fireworks story for you, or New Year's as well. New Year's is also a time where for a lot of people it gets super sad, right? I mean, we had a couple New Year's where we were apart from one another. And you've got that sad song that they play at the ball drop and that everybody's like, crying. I've realized that for some folks, and this might be your experience this year, where this isn't the happiest season for you. And so we want to be sensitive to you too, that it's not just a bunch of fun and it's not just fire and a good time, hot dogs and whatnot, but like but this could be a season where you're like, I miss somebody that I love, or I really want something different. Let's just encourage you, or let's challenge you to take the first step. Erica's got a great podcast this week about sometimes you just need to hit play. Sometimes you just need to hit record. For us, that was, we don't know what we're doing. We just started it, right? And for you, initially, when you started things, it was about just hit record. And so without recapping her whole podcast, talk a little bit about, sometimes you just got to take that first action step. Yeah.
Well, I think God often uses, circumstances where it makes us really uncomfortable to like push us to the next step in life. And that something had happened in my life personally, like within the last 5-6 weeks, that made me really uncomfortable, and it really made me question like my purpose and my calling, and why am I here, and what am I doing, and God, I know there's more, but what is it? And I just really heard God say, there is more, but you have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to go out there, put yourself out there. I've already put these gifts in you. I've created you for greatness, but it's up to you to do something about it. So for me, it was, how can I reach more people? Because right now I minister to women, and I have a group where I minister to women, and I meet with women one-on-one and encourage a lot of different women in their marriages and relationships, or just when they're going through hard times. But I was like, how can I reach more women? Well, it was creating the podcasts and doing these videos that can help more people at one time. Right. So rather than do 2 one-on-ones a week, this can reach, so many more people, and that's really a heart. So sometimes in life, you just gotta start. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start at 0 views. You gotta start at 0 listeners, 0 likes, and you just gotta stick with it. And just, if God called you to something, just be obedient and trust that He's going to see you through. And that's what we're doing. We're just being faithful to the process. We're going to keep doing these regardless of the result. And we trust that God is big enough to take these where He wants them to go. Yeah,
it's going to reach the people it's going to reach. And we believe that might be you. If you're on the other side of this, that God ordained it. God actually wants you to be connected to this material. So we also, that's a great metaphor for marriage, right? You're not always ready. Yeah. And sometimes you just got to hit record. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? I know it's right. We're doing it. And let that also challenge you to where to take big risks, right? You take huge swings, and you can go for the fences, right? But you got to take big swings. And so you're not always going to have everything ironed out and ready and right. Sometimes you just got to go. And that's not to say don't prepare and don't, fertilize the soil of your family or your marriage, and don't pour into your family and don't prepare. It's just to say, when you know it's right and God's ordained it and it's ready to go, don't drag your feet. We've seen so often people that we've intersected with in our life that they're preparing and they're preparing and they're preparing, and they always want something but they don't do anything to get that result. And it's like, man, you're always going to get the same thing you've got if you don't do something new and if you don't take big risk. And so, And
I had that experience when we moved here. The first year we were here, 6 months after we arrived, COVID happened and the whole world shut down, and the kids were out of school and we were homeschooling again. And I was really sad. I didn't have any family here. We didn't know a soul when we moved to Texas, so no family, no friends, and I was really just feeling sorry for myself. I mean, I had Jeremy, but he doesn't want to hear all my thoughts all the time.
Sure I do.
So I was like, I just felt really lonely, and I heard God say, friends aren't just going to fall from the sky to you. Like, if you want friends, if you want a community, you have to go out and get it. You have to do something about it. And so I did. I put myself out there, and it's kind of embarrassing to talk about, but I literally asked 2 ladies, my friends now, Sabrina and Emily, on dates with me, really. I'm like, will you go to lunch with me or breakfast? And I just had to put myself out there. I had to reach out to them. If I want friends, I had to do something about it, and I had to invite them to lunch, invite them to breakfast, and then I created this community for women because I was alone, and I thought, I can't be the only one that feels this way here in Texas. So I created this community for women where I encourage women daily, and now we have 114 women in the group that I just encourage daily, and I meet with a lot of them one-on-one, and that's kind of just how it starts. It starts with you doing something about it.
Right. Well, and you have an experience where there's been people within that group where, kind of like us, right? They're away from their comfort zone or their home, and they need community, and they want community too. And maybe they haven't taken that first action step, but they need somebody like you to be able to come and intersect and just be available and offer something of community to them, right? And sometimes it's good to receive, right? You're the recipient of ministry, and we find that often with church. If you're not in the mix with church, or you're not serving or in leadership, like you're often the recipient of church, and it's great. There's a season for that where it's really awesome. But sometimes it's like that person needs you to be the leader, and that person needs community first. And so this is also a challenge to say, go ahead and take that first action step. But you might be helping people that you don't even know or that you don't even see. Yeah. So we're going to switch topics to an idea that we've been bouncing around back and forth with each other, which is the simple life. And you've seen some of the pictures of our farm life, and it looks really humble. But it's by design. We've done that intentionally. We did live in a really nice community in Surprise, Arizona for a season. We lived in a pretty nice spot in NorCal, and but this is by far the most humble of those experiences, outside of living in apartments in our 20s. But it's by design. We didn't intentionally go above and beyond our budget, and we want to kind of reinforce the value of that in our family. We want to share that with you. Not that look at us and look how awesome this is, but really just to say that it can look different than the rat race of getting all the things, and incurring all the debt and getting the biggest things and the nicest and newest things. But it can be this other alternative, and that alternative creates an environment that is established kind of on peace, and really what we were always going for was peace. So talk about that.
Yeah, when we moved here, lowered our bills significantly, about $400 a month. We downsized our home. We got a smaller house. We relocated to a state that had more affordable living, like cost of living, and it just has really helped us, take away the stressors of life financially and provide more peace as well. We don't drive fancy cars. We have Toyotas, and they're paid off, and we try and live our life that way, like not having debt, and we don't have credit cards, and it just provides more peace and flexibility and freedom. And we love having the space here, and sometimes that's necessary to relocate, to downsize. We wanted to be able to live off one income when we came here because we only had Jeremy's job transfer. I didn't have a job transfer yet.
Yeah.
So we needed to stay within those means and that budget so that there wasn't pressure on me to work, and then I had time to find a job, and that I can really focus on being mom. And there's just something about country life and living on a farm and being in nature that is just so amazing and peaceful, and I just feel so much closer to God here, like even taking care of the animals and hearing all the sounds and just being outside in His beauty every day and touching it and feeling it and hearing it. It's just you just feel his presence all around you. Not that you couldn't in the city, but I feel like it was harder. There was so much noise and chaos. I mean, in Marley Park, literally our wall was shared with our neighbor's garage. It was a beautiful community, but the houses are so close together and very small yards, and
You got to really like your neighbors.
it's just a different pace, and that's all we knew. Now, having experienced this, I mean, one day we have a dream now to have more land, as much as God would give us, because it's just so amazing and beautiful.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, we've lived the other side of that fence, right? We've actually, we've had all the debt. We've got in financial trouble in the past, and it was ugly, and that's never fun. And you always, there's something it does to your psyche. It makes you feel less than. Like, I'm not living up to what I know I could have, or like I don't feel satisfied unless I have all the stuff and the newest stuff. And like, I got into that mix with like all the tech, and even with cars for a season, and like clothes for a while, and so like I get that. I understand the desire for that kind of stuff, but it's the paradox of when you live more simple, you're more fulfilled.
Yeah, there's definitely more joy here, and same for me. In my early 20s, I had joined a company called Arbonne International. I did really well in direct sales. I made it to regional vice president, where they give you an allowance of $900 a month to drive a white Mercedes-Benz. So I had a white Mercedes convertible. I think it was a CLK 350, or 320. But I drove that for a few years, and that was a really nice vehicle, and I was making more money I've ever made in my life. I was making like $10,000 a month as a single 20-something-year-old, without kids. And the company went bankrupt, and I literally lost everything. Like, overnight, went from making all this money and driving this nice car to repossessing my car, foreclosing my home, like literally lost everything. And there's just something about living the simple life and purging all the unnecessary stuff that is just more beautiful and peaceful. I would pick this any day over driving a nice car.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And not that having nice stuff is not awesome. I'd love to have the lifted Tundra, don't get me wrong. But like, but I think that, we've known family that have gone, my brother went to the mission field, right? And they packed up all their stuff, and I think like 17 bins, and that's their stuff. And that's what they lived on for a season. And it's like, when you got to pare it down to the necessities, and this is what we got, and all of our stuff fit in a 24-foot moving van, and that is there's something. It really tests like what's important, like what's important in our life. Well, what's important isn't all the stuff in the truck. It's just that's what we need to just get around and get by. But what's important is the people that are in the truck. Right, and it's the family, and it's being able to get to a place and know that, hey, this is fun and this is peaceful, and this is a place where it's our paradise, it's our getaway. And for you, that might be your backyard or your pool or whatever, but like for us, it's here, and it's for that season. Home is here. Home is where our family is, and wherever God takes us next, it'll be there too. And so we just want to challenge you to this year. Think about the things that are really the most valuable. And sometimes that's not the new expensive whatever. Sometimes it's not the newest, nicest, biggest whatever. Sometimes it's this, right? And it's family time, and it's eating food, and just really the simplicity of getting face-to-face with somebody and sharing coffee, or getting face-to-face with family and just eating a meal together and setting down all the devices and saying, we love you and we care about you, and let's show that face-to-face.
Yeah, souls matter. So at the end of the day, at the end of when this is all over, it's the souls that matter. So it's people that matter, it's relationships that matter, the people that are hurting, the people that maybe people won't talk to, the ones that are judged, the ones that are criticized. Those are the ones we need to reach. The ones that feel like they don't belong. Those are the ones that we are responsible to come alongside and say, hey, how can I help you in this difficult time?
Yeah.
And that's my heart, is to come alongside all those that don't feel like they have a place and that they are hurting and broken. Because, I've been there before. We've been there before where we felt so isolated and alone, like we didn't have anyone to turn to. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, is the people that we're loving well and we have time in our day to actually go out and love and serve those people.
Awesome. So this year, love the people that God put in your ecosystem. Love the people that He's entrusted you to tell the story to. Love your family. Choose your family. Put them as the priority this year. We want to pray a blessing on you that God would protect your family this year, and that God would also allow you to bring value to others and show value to your spouse and show value to your children in a new way, in a tangible way, in a way that is just a blessing to your family. God will honor that. We pray that He will honor that. And so thank you for your time today. God bless. We'll see you on the next episode. I hope you had fun, but do you have anything else before we go?
No, God bless
All right.
you all.
Thanks for hanging with us.